Okay, you've done it, I've done it, we've all done it. You walk into a room, a meeting, a lecture, a movie theater, and you make a beeline, almost like a magnet, straight for the back row. It's this tiny instinctive choice. Well, today, we're going to unpack the surprisingly deep psychology behind that simple move. So, when you picture that person who always sits in the back, what's the first word that pops into your head? Come on, be honest. Our brains just instantly jump to these labels, right? Oh, that's the slacker, the one who's not paying attention, or the rebel, too cool for all this, or maybe, the shy wallflower. It's kind of like this unwritten cultural rule. We see someone tucked away in the back corner, and bam, our brain just slaps a label on them. We think we've got them all figured out, just based on where they're sitting. It's a snap judgment we don't even realize we're making. But this is where it gets really, really interesting. What if I told you that we have it all wrong? That this choice, it has almost nothing to do with being lazy or antisocial, and everything to do with something way deeper. Something that's tied to strategy, to anxiety, and get this, even to our ancient survival instincts. So let's start by just pulling back the curtain on this whole thing. It's time to really challenge those old, tired stereotypes and see what's actually going on in the mind of someone who picks the back row. And here's where the script totally flips. On the one side, you've got the myths, what we think we see. We see disengaged, when the reality is often strategic and observant. We assume someone's antisocial, but maybe they're just protective and introverted. It's not apathy, it could be independence. This shows the huge gap between what we assume and what's really happening psychologically. And that right there, that's the heart of it. This isn't about some flaw in someone's character. Choosing a seat is a psychological act. It's a complex decision, one that's usually unconscious, that's serving a very real purpose for that person. Okay, so why? Why do we do this? Well, now we get to the really cool part, the science. Because it turns out there's a powerful evolutionary reason why the back of the room feels so safe. So, right. It all comes down to this idea called prospect refuge theory. Now, I know it sounds a little academic, but the concept is actually super simple and kind of mind-blowing. Deep down, our brains are hardwired to find places where we can see everything that's going on. That's the prospect. While at the same time feeling protected and hidden. That's the refuge. See without being seen. Just think about it. From the back of the room, you've got a clear view of the whole scene. The speaker, the exits, everyone in the audience. That's your prospect. And at the same time, you've got a solid wall at your back. No surprises, no one's going to sneak up on you. That's your refuge. From a primal lizard brain standpoint, it is the ultimate power position in any room. So that evolutionary instinct is huge, for sure. But here's the thing. Not everybody in the back row is there for the exact same reason. Turns out, we can kind of break down the motivations into 4 main types of back rowers. And as you can see, it's a real mix. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation. Strategy and observation are often the biggest piece of the pie, yeah? But introversion, anxiety, and even a little nonconformity are major factors too. So let's break each of these down. First up, we've got the observer. This person is basically playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. They aren't zoned out, they're gathering intelligence. They're reading the room, watching body language, and getting the lay of the land before they make a move. For them, the back row is mission control. Next up, the introvert. And we've got to be really clear here. Introversion is not the same as shyness. It's all about managing your energy. For an introvert, constant social interaction can feel like running a marathon. The back row is a buffer zone. It cuts down on random small talk and overstimulation so they can save their energy for what's actually important. Then there's the anxious individual. For someone with social anxiety, the idea of being put on the spot, of all eyes suddenly turning to them, it can be absolutely terrifying. The back row is a safe harbor. It's like an invisibility cloak that lets them feel anonymous, lowering their anxiety just enough so they can be present without the panic. And finally, we have the nonconformist. We're not necessarily talking about a full-blown rebel here. It's more subtle. To them, sitting right up front can feel like just falling in line, doing what's expected. Choosing the back row is their small, quiet way of saying, nope, I'm doing this my way. It's a little act of independence. So, after all that, it's pretty clear we need to hit the reset button on our assumptions. We need a completely new perspective on this simple choice of where we sit. So, what's the big takeaway here?
It's that choosing a seat is a deeply psychological decision. It's not about being a good student or a bad employee. It's about a very human search for comfort, for control, for a feeling of safety. So the next time you see someone head for the back, or the next time you do it yourself, just take a second. Try to understand the why before you jump to a label.
And that kind of leaves us with one last question to chew on. If a choice as small as where you sit can tell such a rich story about your inner world, what other little unconscious habits do you have that are telling your story every single day?